have we got a piece for you today.
Woohoo!
Check this out. Mom saw this at a furniture farmer's market. It was over in the corner, all closed up. I saw it and I turned the other way. Mom saw it. She was like, look at this thing, Dani, we need this. And I was like, what do we need a coffin for, Mom?
Oh my gosh.
She was like, it's a record player from the early 1900s. So once we saw that, it was a must, right, Mom?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
But here's the problem. What do you do with a historic piece that doesn't have a purpose anymore? Obviously, the record player's not there, the phonograph isn't there, it serves no purpose. So what do you do with it?
You know what? It is sad that it doesn't have all the inner workings. I actually heard one of these playing one time and it was so cool. Yeah, it was all scratchy and really didn't sound good, but it was still very, very cool. So why don't we just take this old piece, Dani, and just repurpose it into something new?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I just can't. I can't.
Oh my gosh. You have not changed a bit. You've been hysterical about spiders since you were 2 years old.
Well, now that spider's out of there, let's see if we can make this beauty shine. So today we're just going to use LA's Totally Awesome Degreaser. We just dilute it with water, wipe it on, and then rinse it off. This storage made so much sense when it was a record player. This filing system used to house binders full of records for storage, but not really what we need anymore. So let's just clean it out and see what we can come up with for an idea down there.
You know, there are several areas on this Victrola that have a really good finish. Even though it's original, it's just got a few scratches, and we don't want to lose that. I mean, we have this great emblem that shows the Victrola name and the dog, and yeah,
and it's actually painted on. So if we tried sanding, we'd lose that original character altogether.
Yep. So we found a product. It's called Restore Finish, and we got the mahogany color. And all you do is you wipe it on, and it just fills in those scratches and kind of just revives that original finish, so it looks pretty good.
So without the turntable, we're left with a really big hole. So we're going to be inserting just a 3/4 inch plywood in here that will cut down to size, but we need a way to support it. So I'm just going to take these wood blocks and attach them to the bottom to support that insert. Sweet, it fits. But it's not quite flush. It looks like the 3/4 inch is a little too short. So we're gonna have to add in some shims to raise it to just the right height. All right, let's make this seem like it always existed. We're just gonna use some Bondo to
James Bondo.
Thank you, Mother. Yes, to fill in those gaps and make it nice and flush. But you've got a point, Mom. I mean, could you imagine this future piece in all its beautiful glory ending up in James Bondo 007's bachelor pad?
Oh, it'd be perfect.
It would, and you'll see why at the end.
Well, you all know we gotta add a little bit of color to this baby. So I am just giving these corner legs a quick little scuff sand, and then I think we'll take some wood filler, fill in all those gouges and nicks, and paint it pretty.
Pretty in what color? No, just kidding. Don't tell me.
Okay, not yet. Well, after consulting with our chief sniffing officer, Barkley, we decided we wanted to sand the doors back to the original veneer.
Ooh, for a two-tone look?
Yes, we're going to make it two-tone, so there's a little bit of contrast between the doors and the body of the piece.
Over the years, she's lost a few pieces along the way.
She? I thought this was Victor.
I was talking about you. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, yes, Victor, he has some major gouges that we need to replace. So we're using the amazing mold putty. You just mix the two parts together, form it on a piece where everything's intact. After it dries, you can peel it up, fill it with resin or Bondo, and put it on the missing area.
On the top here, at some point, some glue spilled, and we just couldn't leave it. So we had to sand it all the way back down to the raw veneer. Here I'm using a surf prep because it just hugs those curves just perfect.
Have you guys figured out what we're doing with this historical piece yet? Oh, we're turning it into a bar.
Cheers!
I know we do that a lot, but they sell great. These one-of-a-kind statement pieces. And obviously, there's no turntable, so we can't sell it as a record player in pristine condition. So we're going to give it an Art Deco flair, even though it's a little bit earlier than Art Deco. But it's going to look awesome. And then add some really fun elements.
Sneak peek, look at these, woo! That's our new hardware. I love them.
Yeah, so let's get busy, see if we can bust this guy out.
Nice, okay.
I think making custom paints is my new favorite hobby within this business. So I'm starting with a custom blue we already had from a previous project. And I'm trying to make a blue that perfectly matches this really pretty wallpaper.
Is blue your favorite color?
By far, yes. And so we're going to use Melange One's Vagabond Blue just to deepen up this color, mute it a little bit more, and create the perfect shade for this piece.
So this piece has the cutest little wheels, but they are dirty. So I'm taking some Barkeeper's Friend in the liquid form, and and an old toothbrush, and I'm just gonna clean them up the best I can.
Hey, that's my toothbrush.
Not anymore, it's not.
So the wheels didn't turn out that great, so I pulled out the old Dixie Belle gilding wax in gold, and we're just gonna make these babies pretty.
We just want to take a minute to say thank you guys so much for being here, for supporting us with your likes and your comments and your subscribes. It means the world to us. And we are so excited that we get to do this for you and create these incredible pieces and give them new life. So we had a question for you. Who all has a record player in their home? I actually do. It's one of the more modern ones, but I love listening to that scratchy sound. Nothing is quite like listening to a record player. So chime in below if you yourself have a record player and if it's one of the more modern ones, or if you also have a historic piece like this. There's not a ton of hardware on this piece, but the pieces we do have need to be cleaned up because this tarnished silver look isn't really working for us. So we're just using Barkeeper's Friend to scuff it all up. And now that it's nice and clean, we're gonna paint them a beautiful gold. This hardware is a very metallic-y slick finish. So we're just using a spray primer to get a good base going before we add the gold.
You know, we love our Bondo, but sometimes it takes several layers of Bondo and with sanding in between to make it just perfect.
All right, now that this is going to be a bar, every bar needs some sort of liquor storage. So our first thought was to buy some really cool piece off of Amazon. When this gold hexagon piece came in, you know, the size, it was as close as I could find. And then when I put it in, oh man, I had to text a picture to my mom because that looks so bad, a major fail. I mean, the hexagons aren't even all symmetrical.
No, it didn't look good. Thumbs down for sure.
Majorly. So now I'm going to try to use this original storage piece, repurpose it into wine storage. So of course that starts with a little demolition.
So before Dani explains how she built this, I just have to say it was genius. I can't believe she was like so creative, and she just did a phenomenal job of reusing and repurposing. Way to go, girl.
Genius, darling. Thanks, Mom. So here's the vision. I've routed some lines for some middle supports so that we can store 8 different bottles in this new cubby. It would have made much more sense to sand these pieces before I did any assembly, but to my credit, I did remember to paint before I assembled it all together. It's finally time to use this beautiful wallpaper. And in case you're wondering, we have all these products that we've used linked in the description below. Most of them are Amazon links, and we do get a small commission if you use them, but that would mean the world to us if you have Amazon shopping to do. And there's no additional cost to you. So with this peel and stick wallpaper, we're just going to cut it out approximately to size with a little leftover. Start in one corner, peel off the backing as we smooth everything out. It's not going to be perfect because there's going to be these open ridges that I'm trying to cover, but it's going to be pretty good and a lot less work than trying to fill those empty ridges. Ooh, it's all coming together. What do you guys think? Although I will say, I wish it went this fast in real life. This was a bear.
there's so much raw wood in here that we're going to have to prime it. So we're going to use this handy dandy spray primer. And what? Dani, what are you doing?
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's not fine. Didn't we just mention how that was a painted Victrola logo like 100 years ago?
Yeah. Pull out the cardboard and shield it, girl.
All right, we just wanted to use the wallpaper in one more area for that added crossover design element. And this stuff is so easy to use compared to the paste type of wallpaper. It's especially nice on a pattern like this where you don't have to have them match up perfectly from side to side, left to right, because I actually had to do a second little piece in the very back to finish the whole depth.
What's crossover design element? What's that?
Like cross-pollination of design elements.
Christopher Lowe.
Oh yeah, that was like 25 years ago.
Blast from the past.
I don't know if you guys are following the Miss Flips on YouTube or Instagram, but she is the queen of these gorgeous Art Deco designs.
It's her superpower.
It is. She doesn't even use stencils. She does them by hand, and it's incredible. So she inspired us to add some beautiful gold designs on our Art Deco bar, but we do not have that superpower. So instead of being artsy, we're going to be crafty. So I used my Cricut machine to make these designs and to cut out the stencils.
In order to prevent seeping through of your paint underneath your stencil, here's a great tip. Just take some type of top coat. Here we're using Modern Masters Dead Flat Varnish, and brush over the stencil real quick. It glues down the edges. When you put the paint on, it won't seep under at all.
Watch this gold go on. We've never used this paint before. It's a liquid leaf in classic gold, and when it's all dry, it actually looks like gold leaf paper.
I love it.
Yeah, it is stunning in person. While Mom's working on weeding out those little details from the side stencils, I'm doing a dry fit run with this wine storage. And what do you think? I'm so happy with how it's coming together.
It's awesome.
We need a little pizzazz in this wine storage area, so how about some fairy lights? A nice simple tip is just to tape it all up there with frog tape to get it in place, and then use some E6000 glue for that extra security. And then when it's all dry, just take off that tape and it'll stay in place. Man, I just love working on these pieces that are over 100 years old, and they all are a lot of work. But it's so fun to give them new life and for someone else to enjoy this piece for many years to come. Ohana, thanks so much for watching. Aloha!